As per the requirement of Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands, Mayor and Council, and all requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken when will be taken. Time may be allotted for public comment at this meeting. Each speaker may be allotted limited time when recognized for the presiding officer. Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and group if any they represent. Although the council encourages public participation and reserves the right to the presiding officer to terminate remarks and/or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of this meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination, employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of promotion, or disciplining of any specific, prospective, or current employee. Roll call. Councilmember Broswell.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Executive session resolution. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas the public body is in the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. And whereas the governing body wishes to address attorney-client privilege, advisory committees, telecommunications licensing, contract negotiations, Monmouth County Regional Health Commission Number 1. Minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes will be made public. Now, therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council go into executive session to discuss the above items and the public excluded from the meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Councilmember Roswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Executive session is entered into at 7:05 p.m. with the resolution being properly approved. As to the requirement of Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands, Mayor and Council, and all requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken. Time may be allotted for the public comment at this meeting. Each speaker may be allotted a limited time when recognized by the presiding officer. Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although the council encourages public participation, it reserves the right to the presiding officer to terminate remarks and/or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of this meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of promotion, or disciplining of any specific, prospective, or current employee. Can I please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilmember Roswell.
Yes. Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Mayor O'Neill.
Here.
Approval of minutes, March 20th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Run.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill? The March 20th minutes have been properly approved. The April 3rd, 2019 minutes, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
The April 3rd minutes have been properly approved. Consent agenda.
Before we start the consent agenda, I'd like to make a motion to remove Resolution 123 from the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
The resolution has been properly removed from the consent agenda. The consent agenda, Resolution 19-116, approved payment of bills. Resolution 19-117, authorized refund of taxes. Resolution 19-118, approved request for waiver of alcohol ban at the community center. Resolution 19-119, approved request for waiver of alcohol ban at community center. Resolution 19-120, canceled tax balance. Resolution 19-121, 2019 tonnage ban. Resolution 19-122, permit 1-hour extension of noise ordinance restriction on June 7th, 2019 for the bonfire. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Roswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Yes.
The consent agenda has been properly approved. Resolutions. Resolution 19-123, approve waiver of peddler and vendor limits, time restrictions, and fees for borough events. Do I have a motion?
Well, Mr. Brazel, will you like to make that first?
Yes, I was thinking about this, and I have no problem whatsoever extending the time limit on this, but I don't feel that eliminating the fees associated with the health inspections and other things relating to the vendors, I think the fees should stay their normal amounts. I have trouble with the borough granting a waiver from its own ordinances for its own events.
Anybody else like to speak to this?
I concur with Councilman Brazwan. It's Board of Health fees, I don't believe should be waived for borough events as opposed to any other event. Why would you ever waive a Board of Health fee for the safety of our residents? So,
I don't think it meant that they weren't subject to being inspected, but
Right.
I think they were trying to avoid the fees.
is there a reason that we really want to do it?
That was because when we were setting up the event, it seemed as though maybe in the past, not all organizations paid the borough for the fees, so we figured we would make it even this year, and continue that for this year, and next year, everyone's accountable for each event that they want to participate in.
Okay, so can I
Sure.
want to clarify this. So what you're saying is if there were events in the past, certain vendors were not paying
The borough, their fee.
the borough the fees
Correct.
in reference to specifically the health inspection,
Correct.
any other fees?
Any
Like a
of
federal license or
Right.
something like that?
Yes. And they weren't actually borough-run events, so when we were setting up the events, and there are different committees that are involved, they said, well, why in the past was it allowed for one organization and not the borough themselves? If they're trying to start an event, we're trying to get vendors in town, new vendors, people to come in town to come to these events. It's harder if you're charging the fee to have them come in when you don't know what the turnout's gonna be.
So this would just be to the end of the year, and then everybody gets to charge.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you'll have a different outfit coming in too, right? Health inspection.
It's only for one event.
Yeah, right now, it's only for one event.
Right now,
Let's make it clear, right, because this doesn't change it for every event moving forward. This is only this
Or
one.
two events.
Two events.
Right, two events.
Two events.
Park
Main
Fest
and-
and Community
Park
Garden.
Fest, okay. And, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Call for a vote, Tim.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution 19-123?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Roswell?
Well, begrudgingly, yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
I second that with begrudgingly, yes.
Actually, no.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Just regular, yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Yes.
Resolution 19-123 has been properly approved. Resolution 19-124, approve waiver of alcohol ban for Park Fest at Veterans Park. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that.
Can
Oh, you want to speak to it?
I would like to talk
Absolutely.
about, I would like to talk about this first. Before we vote, you know, I've really been thinking about this. I really feel that Park Fest will be bringing people into this town from the outside, and they will really have the opportunity to be moving from one area of the town to another, which then will give people the exposure of different restaurants and different bars, and I feel that if we allow alcohol, we might be cutting off the opportunity for our local businesses to really do very well that day.
Agreed completely.
So, that's really the driving force to what I was kind of thinking. We really do need to support our local businesses, and I think that, if somebody wants to have an adult beverage, they can go into one of our local restaurants, have a meal and an adult beverage, and move on to the next part to listen to the wonderful music and the activities.
My concern is sectioning off that part so that there would be no underage drinking, and I think it would be, unless you did it the way it's done in the plan, if there's one area, I think it's going to be just too difficult to...
If you don't have a confined area set aside for alcohol, so that there's an opportunity to keep children away from it, basically leaving it up to the parents, but you can't have children wandering around. If the park is just wide open, and people can bring their alcohol with them and be anywhere they want, they could be within reach or exposure to children that are there or not there for the occasion. So when you see the other events that have alcohol, they're always confined and with a small entrance that's supervised. Permits have to be gotten for those.
But I don't think
This
we're
isn't for
selling.
ABC,
We're not
we're not selling.
Just to be clear,
Everybody can bring their own.
we're not
I get it,
selling
I get it.
alcohol.
I get it.
And this was just a recommendation of the promoters, actually.
I'd rather have the park open for family. It would be family event.
And that's for just the one thing when it's the Park Fest at 3 different parks, right?
This one's for park.
This one's for Park Fest at Veterans Park, because there's a
Okay.
concert going from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock with
Okay.
6 different bands.
Okay.
So what they were doing was they were wanting people at that point to be at one location, stay there, if they wanted to put a blanket out, sit, go out. But that's
Okay.
good night for the VFW.
So this would be failure to get approval, I guess.
But there's no motion.
We
Okay.
have a motion?
You do?
Yeah, Mayor O'Neill made a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Neil.
I need a second.
Okay, we can all vote no, or we can just let it, I'll withdraw the motion, don't make any difference.
If no one seconds it, then it dies.
Okay, no fail for that, okay, good enough.
Okay, Resolution 19-124 has failed. Resolution 19-125, approve waiver of alcohol ban for bonfire at community center in Snug Harbor Beach.
This likewise for bonfires.
No, I think we had that moved last year for the bonfire, didn't we? Or was that for,
We
that
did.
was
We
in
did.
September?
We did have it for the bonfire last year, and it got a little wild as the night came, and that's why I did not support this either.
For the bonfire, in the spring, that was going?
And I think, I'm fairly...
June.
Or I think it was, maybe not the
No,
bonfire, it was Highlands Day.
Yes, it was Highlands Day.
And we looked at it for that, and it got a little wild, and then...
I was here all
just
day,
like-
that couldn't get wild. They played ball over here and had fun, but there was no incident alcohol.
Oh, I'm not
related
saying,
that day.
I'm not saying that, I just meant public drunkenness.
Oh, I
So
don't think
that's
that
why we
happened.
left.
You know
I
what?
don't want to do the same thing again. Again, it's supposed to be a family event, it's supposed to be Highlands people coming together and having some fun. And I don't think we have to have alcohol at every single event we have in town.
Have it at every year, man.
I disagree with that as well.
They're confined.
This is confined.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was confined to here.
No, there's no fence around it.
There was people here working this area, the police.
Yeah, we had people security working.
Sure it was. I don't think
We
we
do
were even here.
No,
Tell you the truth.
no, they have a fence completely around their area.
Well, I would submit then we do it for some of these,
but we don't do it for any of these. If you can't agree on that, then that would include the beer, and wine garden over at the HPP on, at the plant factory. Let the VFW sell it and let them control it in their own yard like they used to do. It's only fair. If you don't want to do it anywhere, let's not do it anywhere. That's how I feel about it.
But this is a bring your own,
So what's that have to do with anything?
because
It's
someone can
consumption
bring their
of alcohol,
own
the bottom
bottle of
line.
vodka, or someone
The
can
bottom line is
having a
that,
beer.
You may have parents who would have liked to have brought their children, but won't if they think there's gonna be,
well, if you don't want to have it, that's fine, but then we shouldn't have it anyway.
No,
Because
well,
it appears to me that the issue is alcohol.
the other events, you can stay away from it if that's your preference.
You can stay away from here.
But not if it's, no, because you don't have a designated area for it.
I will say that I was at Highlands Day, and there were plenty of children there, and I think that everybody had a very good time. But I think I do agree, if we're having events in this town that are open to the public, we kind of have to make a decision. Are we going to allow it, or are we not going to allow it? I think picking and choosing is maybe not the
So
right
if
thing
you
to
go
do.
back to the opening statement on the Highlands Day or the Park Fest, on the Park Fest issue, it was so, we don't want to have it then, so the people who sell alcohol in town can make money,
Right,
okay?
right.
Yet we cut a separate, liquor day for the Clam Fest. For 3 days, they sell liquor, and it shouldn't be on, because they interfere with the VFW
That's
business.
right, that's
They
right.
interfere with Allison Murray's business down there, so,
That's
if
right.
you don't want to have it all, let's not
How
have
does
it
it
in.
interfere with the VFW?
Because they sell liquor. They sell
Of course
beer.
they do. But
But they had the whole, Kenny, let's go back to the start of it. They had the whole beer concession. That was their gig there. You guys cut in, the HPP cut in on that. And they slowly moved them out so they had their own setup there. I remember I was there.
That's right, but the VFW wouldn't benefit at all with beer sales if you didn't, first of all, have the Clam Fest in the park.
So what does that have to do with anything?
Well, the HBP markets it heavily, they spend a lot of money to bring it there.
Okay.
And then bring the crowd there. And some of them do bleed off over to the VFW to get their drinks, and some go to,
Understood.
the other one.
But
But if we don't have the Clam Fest, then it doesn't matter, the VFW isn't gonna have any beer sales.
whatever, but either it has to be worked out where we can have it at other things, or we can't have it at anything. That's how I feel about
I guess you're gonna
that.
have to figure it
My
out.
issue with Park Fest was, it's in 3 separate locations.
Granted.
And you're gonna wander from one location to another.
But I
and
believe the
that's
alcohol
it.
was only good at Veterans Park.
Right.
It wasn't good at any of the other places,
But I think that,
which is okay.
look,
A lot of people know.
you go to Bonfire, and it's very hard to police who has what in their cooler. I don't have,
Well, that's kind of what we're
right,
thinking,
and,
too.
and, you know, this, I think that's different, and a lot of people leave with their kids once it starts getting dark, and then there are other bands that go on. I have more of a problem with it at Park Fest to spread out more than I have it with the Bonfire.
I do too, because I went to Highlands Day, and I participated, and I was there from early until late, and I think, I agree with you, there were a lot of family-friendly things that were happening earlier, and as the night went on, and the music came on, and the young children went home, and, but I would like to ask the chief, putting you on the spot.
I was waiting.
How did things go for Highlands Day? Do you remember, do you recall if there were any issues? Okay. Okay. And again, for me, Park Fest is different because I want people to frequent our businesses. I want them to be walking around town, which they will be doing. You're not going to be driving from one park to another that's within a 2-block radius. And if you want to have a beer or a drink, you know what? Spend your money in one of our local businesses. So I also agree with Rosemary. I think that the bonfire is different.
Do I have a motion, Resolution 19-125?
I'll make it.
I'll second. Roll call.
Councilmember Roswell?
No?
Councilmember Brouillon?
No.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 19-125 has been properly approved. Resolution 19-126, award non-fair and open contract to Major Engineering for Bayside Drive slope analysis.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 19-126 was properly approved. Resolution 19-127, authorized shared service agreement with Seabright for the provision of lifeguard operations. Do I have a motion?
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Roswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 19-127 was properly approved. Resolution 19-128, appointing licensed C2 operator and alternative C3 operator for sewer operation services. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Roswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 19-128 was properly approved. Resolution 19-129, appoint temporary part-time aide for the Recreation Department. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 19-129 was properly approved. Ordinances, introduction and first reading. Ordinance 1909, requiring citizens to be in good standing to serve on borough committees. Do I have a motion to introduce?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Ordinance 1909 was properly approved. Public hearing will be on May 1st, 2019. Ordinance 1910, telecommunications licensing provisions for facilities and rights-of-way. Do I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1910?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Ordinance 1910 was properly introduced. The public hearing will be on May 1st. Ordinances, second reading and public hearing. Ordinance 1908, authorized extension of time to adopt District Management Corporation budget for 2019. We need to open the meeting to the public.
I will. 1908. Here we go.
Claudette Dorigo, 12 Seadrift. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for hiring Cliff Moore, the economic development person, to actually maybe move the town forward. I'm very disappointed that despite all the proof and evidence that there are some discrepancies in the budgeting for the HPP, you are still going to push this forward. I just don't understand why the Oprah request cannot be all answered, why we cannot have an accounting that matches 501c3 rules and regulations, despite what an auditor supposedly said. I have a concern with the auditor, whose husband is paid by the HPP, or was paid by the HPP, for a shed. So that is a concern for me. There's a lot of concerns with this budget, and to push it forward at this point, and to push this ordinance forward to keep them with unanswered questions is just wrong in my book, and it's your responsibility to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go. Mr. Sal?
Steve Solomon, 205 Bay Avenue. You know, I'm not going to belabor the issue, but, you know, we go ahead, year and a half, I've been trying to make some change here as far as the fairness is concerned, but we go ahead and we adopt an event schedule that's no different than the prior years, that benefit the few, the people that are in charge, you know, that doesn't follow the ordinance, and the same people are still benefiting. So to me, whatever the business management HBP has, they've lost their intended purpose. It's nothing but a money grab for a certain few. Okay, so I'm very disappointed in the fact that nobody looked into the budgets, the general ledgers, to find out exactly what's going on.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public portion.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1908?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Broswell?
Abstain?
Councilmember Brouillon?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
No.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Ordinance 1908 was properly adopted. Other business, Comcast survey.
Brian, do you want to speak a little bit about,
The Comcast franchise agreement with the borough expires February 4th, 2021. Right now, the borough is in what's called the ascertainment phase, where they examine Comcast performance, identify any additional needs of the borough, and they have to submit a report to the State Board of Public Utilities that regulates cable providers on February 4th, 2020. So in doing so, the borough, I believe, and Carol will explain it further, is going to be circulating a survey, basically looking at the quality of service, response to consumer complaints, billing practices, to determine whether they've satisfied your needs and what the community needs are as a whole, so that the borough can have some information to furnish to the state with respect to the franchise agreement,
so what I've done is I've put together a survey, that is now, I'm going to have to program it and then get it out to everybody. I will also make sure that there are paper copies available that people can come either here or to the borough office and fill it out on paper. This is for cable television service only, so if you say you've got some other television option and you only have Comcast for Wi-Fi, this is not about Wi-Fi only. It's only for your cable television service. So, and it's pretty much as Brian described, it's pretty much your satisfaction or dissatisfaction with Comcast as a cable TV subscriber. So expect that to be out there. We're going to put it on the website, electronically. We'll probably put it out on the borough's Facebook page and get that shared around. And as I said, we'll make sure that there are paper copies for those who are not on the website.
Captain's Cove Mercantile License, status update.
Yeah, Mr. Rosiak had asked to come before the council tonight and speak, to get further clarification of what's needed for his mercantile license reinstatement.
We'll be back to it, too, but actually hit the agreement, just so we can refer to it. If you want to get up and say something afterwards, you're certainly welcome, as everyone else is, but, first of all, I want to thank the council for indulging me last year. There were personal things going on health-wise that the marina took a very second or third seat, frankly, in terms of me being able to or caring much about doing anything. But thank goodness that's changed, and I'm in a different place. I'd like to just review. The issue at hand is that we had an agreement that was made. It was formed as a result of the mayor, the administrator at that time, and the engineer and me meeting at the marina and deciding on 4 areas that looked like they needed repair. And we talked about specifically what kinds of repair, and that's in the agreement I just gave to Mr. Shabarak, if anyone needs to review, particularly the last page.
I'll just interject, it wasn't the current administrator.
Excuse me?
It wasn't the current administrator.
No, the prior administrator, Mr. Geoghegan? Gagan. These were repairs to a bulkhead that was built in 2002 under a DEP approved permit. So things that happened in the meantime, and specifically we identified 4 areas. First area was on the north side, that was Rogers Avenue, and we identified an area per our agreement, there was supposed to be 23 feet of bulkhead to be replaced. The second area was on the Washington Street side, excuse me, and that was an area of approximately 30, well, not approximately, it was 30 feet, where the tiebacks and pilings, if they had been compromised, would be replaced. Another section, a little bit to the east of that, another 30 feet, again, of tiebacks and piles to be replaced. And then the 4th section was the area in front of the building. That bulkhead itself, 42 feet of that bulkhead had to be replaced. The problem with this repair work when you're dealing with something that's old and in place is sometimes until you get in there and start taking it apart and see what has to be done, you don't really know what has to be done. And it certainly proved out in this case. We did repair 3 of the 4 sections that we had agreed to do, and in each case we did way more than what we had originally intended to do. For example, on the Rogers side, what was started out as 24 feet ended up being over 100 feet of bulkhead that was replaced. 5 times what we said we would. In section D, we agreed to replace tie rods and piles. In a 30-foot section, we ended up replacing 5 piles and all the tie rods, and 20 feet of new bulkhead in there as well. And then section C, which is the 3rd area on Washington side, again, that was supposed to be 30 feet of tie rods and piles. We replaced 4 new 25-foot piles and all of the tie rods and 15 feet of vinyl bulkhead. So it ended up, we did what we agreed to, and actually quite a bit more, because it's my marina and it's my bulkhead, and we did what needed to be done. The 4th area, of course, is the area in front of the building, which has not been done and which we're now ready to do. And I'm really here to confirm, A, that we're ready to do it. I think we can do it in 10 working days and get it done. We have the materials on site to get it done. I've pulled together some resources to pay for the people to do it. And as you know, because the marina has lost its mercantile license, we have no people coming in the marina. So I just want to confirm, if we go ahead and do this, as per our agreement, that we can get our mercantile license back right away, that we don't have to go through a lengthy process to do that, even if it's on a temporary basis. Because we have some people that have been signed up for the boating season that really don't need to come in till May or so. We've lost pretty much, most of the people that are real hardcore boaters.
Mr. Rozak, I don't think they can give you any assurances aside from the engineer has to inspect the premises. You were here several times last year, right? And you had a certain timeline when you would complete X, Y, Z. And I know that the council gave you a number of chances.
They did, yep.
And the engineer testified about the safety issues that he had. That's why the mercantile license was revoked. Nothing's obviously prohibiting you from applying, and it could be denied, and then there's a process. But my suggestion to you is the engineer is going to have to weigh in on this. So
Okay.
They can't give you, it's up to them, but I don't think they can give you any assurances at this point until the engineer signs off.
Sure.
But I think what Mr. Rozak asked for is when the engineer signs off, is the deal still good?
Right. Can we get the engineer, I'm paying for the engineer. I mean, I've paid $8,500 already for the engineers to look at our tie rods.
No, I'm referring to the municipal engineer. He has to review it, and then
The
file
municipal engineer is who, please?
Doug Romeyer. He's not here tonight.
Oh, we're not talking about T&M now.
No,
No, it's CME now.
we've changed hands.
Okay.
But I think he's been made familiar with the issues,
Yes.
and he has all
But-
prior
but
reports.
You
The
guys
T&M
could
issues
ask
report.
And
him,
the engineering that you provided to T&M
yes,
is still the same engineering that
Yes, sir.
CMP will look at.
right.
I'm telling you, our guy will look at it.
Right,
Okay.
and T&M prepared a report, as you know, from the last time we were here, so he'll review that, he'll go review the site, and then you can apply for your mercantile license, and the process will be what it is. But they
Well, I
can't
guess
give you
what
a
I'm asking,
warrant.
Mr. Chabarek, is could the town ask your new engineer, as soon as we've done the work,
Come down.
to come down, take a
Yeah.
look, and report to you, and that we don't need to go through a
But,
monthly
Fred,
cycle?
I do want to clarify that T&M did give a report that had to be followed, and that would be the inspection that would be done, right? That report that I gave you from T&M
Right.
listing, that's what they're going to look at. to be
Correct.
done.
The deal remains the same.
Right.
Whatever T&M said needs to be done,
Has to be done.
CME is going to assure that it was done correctly. That's the way
Okay.
I see it.
After
They'll
this-
review the fire report, and they'll review your site.
After
and
the
then they'll-
agreement was made, 2 additional areas were pointed out where there's sheets that have, they claim that the toes have buckled out, and we can do a remedy for that. This marina has lasted through how many, I mean, Hurricane Sandy, and it didn't come down. It's not in imminent, danger of falling apart. What I'm asking is that we do the last section of the agreement. If it's done satisfactory, can we get our mercantile
Well,
license
Mr.
back so
Rossi,
people
I
can
want
come
to
in?
interject here, because the deal you made was to be done in a certain amount
I
of
know.
time with another council, with another
I know.
administrator, with another engineer. So I can't say to you here, oh yeah, that'll be good, until I know what the deal was, and it can't keep being dilapidated and not fixed.
Right.
This
I
is a
agree.
serious detriment to our town.
Totally agree.
So I cannot say, okay, that's the deal, that's going to be good. I want
That's
to-
why I brought the deal that,
Right,
that
but-
is
but
enforced.
respectfully, your mercantile license last year was revoked.
I'm sorry, I can't,
Your mercantile license last year was revoked because it
Yes.
affected the public health, safety, and welfare. So now, again, CME will review T&M's last report and see that you've complied with all the requirements. But the council here can't tell you yes or no until the engineer reviews it.
So, Mr. Rosiak,
yes, ma'am.
how are you? My name's Linda Mazzola. I don't think we've ever
Fine,
met
thank you. How are you?
I believe that what the council is trying to explain to you is that your agreement was from, what year was that,
This is
Brian?
2017. There were several agreements over the past year,
Okay.
but 2017.
So the most current agreement you have there is from 2017.
Yes.
T&M, who was the municipality's engineer, looked at all the work that had progressed and the work that was in place, and came back to you and said, these repairs are not what they should be.
No, they
Okay.
did not do that.
I'm just surmising, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Either these repairs, are not what they should be, and/or there are other repairs that are remaining.
Yes.
Okay? So what you need to do is not only rely on that particular agreement, you have to go back to T&M's requirements prior to the mercantile license being, yes.
Being revoked.
I guess why I'm focused on the agreement is at the meetings, and particularly in December, Mr. Chabarek handed me that agreement as an exhibit and said, do you remember this? Did you review it?
I
And
don't recall if that was
based-
December. You've been here so many times, I can't recall when it was. So,
Right, but there's, your, what do you call it? Exhibit notes are on there.
It's dated.
And it was based on that,
it's dated September 15th,
Right.
2018, not December,
right,
the exhibit.
yep.
And that's when you came for your revocation hearing.
I came 3 months in a row. You were kind enough
They
to
extended it.
allow me to do that, and they extended it.
But I think what they're saying is have your engineer do the repairs, and the municipal engineer is going to review it in conjunction with what T&M's requirement was, because T&M said there was a safety issue that affected the public as well. So That's the best thing that I can tell you, and the council can give you further direction, but I can't tell them to assure you of anything at this point.
Well, yes,
I'll be in favor of returning, your mercantile if you go by the T&M inspection reports from last year, and the new inspection with CME this year shows that everything was completed. And I would be in favor of returning your mercantile.
it creates kind of an open-ended situation.
Well, only we can go by is when the engineer inspects it, is what he says.
These guys would like to speak.
If we may,
You have to be recognized, yes, sir.
I'm Nick Kakuza, how are you? I'm moving to town, just bought a place on 13 Cheerful Place,
Name and address?
love the town.
Name and address?
Oh, Nick Kakuza, I'm at 40 Mead Street, Berkeley Heights, New Jersey right now. My current property I just purchased is on Cheerful Place, right around the corner from the marina. So I met Russ and Bob Davis, and we spoke about the entering of a contract to purchase the property from Mr. Wozniak. His health has been an issue, so I think getting to the issues that are concerning of the bulkheads has been problematic for him. Not disparaging him, he's been trying his hardest to get this done, but, you know, it's difficult when you're in your 70s and you're dealing with health issues. So, we are proposing, we're in negotiations right now to purchase the marina. We want to keep it as a marina. I think it's a great asset for the town. I think whatever repairs that need to be done, we need to solidify or understand and ascertain what those repairs are, because I understand. I worked with T&M, I worked with Mazer, I worked with all the contractors. I'm a builder, so I know exactly what the engineers want. But from what I read in the report, some of the bulkheading wasn't properly done yet. So what we'd like to do is come in, take over, possibly reach an agreement with Mr. Wozniak, get that solidified probably within like 90 days, 60 days possibly. Get the T&M, who's the engineer now for the town?
Doug Romeyer from CME.
From who?
CME.
CME? Okay. We'll get to him, find out what the particulars are as far as getting the bulkheads back into proper condition, get those repairs done, get the mercantile license back. I don't think we're going to be functional this year. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just don't see it happening. Yeah, I feel pretty badly about that because I want to keep my boat there. But if there's any possibility of the council maybe approving a 90-day or summer repass to allow boats to be held into the marina for this year while we work on this problem, and I guarantee you, by this time next year, those bulkheads repairs will be done.
Mr. Rosiak said he...
If we gotta bond it, we'll bond it.
Wait, Mr. Rosiak said he could make the repairs in 10 days.
He's not gonna make it in 10 days. I'm sorry.
I'm still the owner.
I hate
So I
to...
gotta deal with that.
I could make section, a draft section of the agreement done in 10 working.
You need 10 working days?
I don't know what
Wait a minute,
the
guys, wait. Are you finished?
No.
Okay, but I'm just letting you speak.
I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that.
But this issue is with Mr. Rosiak right now, because he still owns the marina, and he stated that he can repair that in 10 days. That being the case, the way I look at it, he meets the requirement of the T&M report with the okay from CME. He's working on getting his mercantile license.
Nothing happens in 10 days in construction.
Ricky, the T&M report has identified other areas besides the areas that I agree with.
See, I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not...
That's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. T&M through the inspection said that the marina is,
My concern is,
I can schedule a re-inspection in 20 days and see where they're at with it, but it would include the inspection.
It has to include the whole
It has
inspection.
to.
my concern is that either whoever took over, CME or T&M, has not provided what is inadequate.
There is a report.
There is a report,
Yes,
because
there is.
T&M rendered a
There is.
very detailed
No, there
report.
Okay. However, I'd just like the council and the mayor to possibly
Fred has it. Fred.
consider the allowance of the mercantile license on a temporary basis to allow the marina to operate while these repairs are being
I
done.
don't see that happening.
Okay.
Sir, if I may, I've been seated here for about 3.5 years, and in that entire time, we've given extension and extension and
We
extension.
understand.
And I understand what your position is.
I'm a newcomer.
You are, and you know what, you don't own the property yet, so we have to deal with the property owner.
I understand.
We've given explicit detail as to what needs to be fixed in that report. You shake your head, sir, but Mr. Rosiak does have that report from T&M.
But if we are under contract, we have certain...
You're under contract, you're not the property owner. We have to deal with the property owner.
But we still do have rights.
You don't own the marina. You do not own the marina, is what I'm saying.
Wait. Okay, are you going to speak, sir? Okay.
What I'm saying is, we do have a contract. Under that contract, we are legitimately, and the attorney can attest to that, we have the right to commit to other commitments as repairing the boat. So if we would even bond that repair to the township, that is going to be done.
Before we go any further, we have to get the report. We have to have, Doug look at it. We have to get an answer on what's going to happen, and we'll go through you guys. I don't have a problem with you making corrections, and so you can do that in 10 days or 10 days further ahead. If there's other problems, they have to be addressed.
My problem, Ricky, is I got the money to do this last section that we had agreed to do.
So that's what you're saying, you can do it in 10 days.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, you can start
I
tomorrow.
go ahead and do it, and I can't get the merchants out now. I still got taxes coming in. I still
Understood,
got-
but I don't know what else is on that report.
There were two other areas that T&M reported as far as areas where the code sections of the budget had gone out.
I have photos.
Do you agree with that happened?
Yes, it is towed out, and there is a simple fix to it, of putting a couple of piles with another rail down the road and making sure that's not going to go anywhere. Is it an elegant fix? No.
Well, here's the
Certainly sure if
I have to have see an approval by the town engineer.
Okay,
So if he can approve that fix, then
so how can I get with that engineer's department?
I can set up an appointment.
Okay,
When would you like?
as soon as possible. Tomorrow? Right?
Friday, the offices are closed. Friday's a holiday.
but that doesn't mean that Doug's office is closed.
Or Kim's involved. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I'll see what I
Oh, wait.
As soon as you possibly can, I'll be available.
Wasn't he going to Florida?
Yes,
Do you have to fill in?
yes.
Okay.
I'll set it up as soon as possible. I'll email you.
Okay. You have to deal with your friends here. Okay? No disrespect, sir, but I have to deal with the property. He's the owner of title, as far as I know, so I have to deal with him. Okay, you guys gotta deal with him also.
My name's Russ Chellock. I live at 25 Hardingham Building on Washington, Free Washington, and this is a matter of public welfare. So I have a right to present my point of view and ask some questions.
We deal in public portion, but not right now. Okay? On this issue, we deal with Fred. Okay? He's the owner of title. You guys aren't, as
Okay.
far as you know.
I got a simple question. Why is T&M refusing to provide seal drawings for repair? You've got 4 items on the original contract, the original agreement. Everybody knows those 4 items. Fred's trying to figure out exactly what they want on the 2 additional items. He went there, and specifically asked for, he said, "I'll pay it. I want sealed drawings, calculations, a design for repairing these two unidentified problems." They refused to do that.
Because they don't do that.
It's not their responsibility.
They don't do that.
They're engineers.
No, they're the town's engineers. So they will say, Mr. Rosiak, you have a problem, it has to be remediated. Mr. Rosiak has to get his engineers to come up with those seal plans and present them back to the town engineer and say...
They refused to provide those daily inspection sheets identifying exactly what the problem was.
They were...
Oh, you got them yesterday? Okay.
You guys got-
So is it clearly defined what the two extra items are? That's the problem. We can't move forward unless they tell us.
We need our engineer, our current borough engineer to come. I would rather probably schedule an inspection first to see where they're at compared to the T&M report. Then we can sit down and meet. I think that's the better way to go about it.
So we're going to get a definite answer on what the two additional items are besides the four in the original agreement?
President, yes, yeah, we will,
I'm here to tell you, I don't know what those two additional ones are. So
Nobody does. That's the problem.
Somebody does, but we gotta
Okay.
find that out.
Great.
Okay.
And also, I got to say that I'm a dock builder. I have provided the docks for Twin Lights and for Bar's Landing. And I can tell you that these bulkheads, they rate about a B plus, A minus. And if you want, I can bring in pictures of bulkheads in this town. He's got 370 feet. I can bring in pictures that represent,
I don't need to debate that with you.
approximately 5,200 feet of bulkheads that are far inferior. You can see right through the bulkheads, and soil is pouring out of them. Okay? So these bulkheads are in very good condition, and it's time to wake up, smell the coffee. This is the real
The
world,
Hartsgrove brothers built the Twin Lake Marina, not you, that I recall.
all right? But the bulkheads at his marina, they're made out of vinyl, they are corrosion-proof, they are borer-proof, they're going to last 50 years, they're guaranteed for 50 years. They're in far better shape than most of the bulkheads in this town.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You'll deal with Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Ricky, Your Honor, I mean, my purpose of coming here is to ask and beg your indulgence to make something happen as soon as I comply with whatever it is you want to apply.
Fred, and I'm going to say for my own part, as soon as you comply, we'll work to get that straightened out.
Thank you.
We've done this for a long time now. Oh, you good? You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. What else, Bill? Administrator report. And I'm glad you're feeling better, Fred.
I am too.
You look a lot better.
You look good.
Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Just a reminder from the last meeting that the borough was awarded the NJDOT grant that it has submitted for Cornwall Drainage Program of $225,000. That award tonight went to the engineer to go out for design specs and bid. So we will be doing that program as soon as the specs are complete.
Guys, come on. Please.
Excuse me, Kim,
Yes,
can you speak into the microphone a little bit clearer?
can you hear me better now?
Yes.
It's up, totally. Cornwall was awarded the grant for NJDOT for $225,000. That is going to be in the design and spec phase with CME. We hope to have that program out to bid prior to summer, I would hope, or during the summer. FEMA has given a municipal building amount award of $1.787 million. We are combining Category B items into the E project, which means permanent plus emergency items. We also will be demolishing the two structures on the new building site this spring, and we are waiting for word on 171 Bay from NJOEM, which has submitted to FEMA for the demolition of that site. Valley Street Road drainage, in 2 weeks, the storm work should be complete on that project. The water company has replaced what was needed. There was a lot of problems with the main and different lines going to different homes. That is complete, and the completion of the project should be the last week in June. And that's including paving and sidewalk.
Is that a schedule?
On schedule, just about, tad bit ahead, so I'm not gonna, we'll just keep it, end of June.
And some unforeseen conditions.
That's right.
How has it been?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of infrastructure that's with a lot of close items. You have a lot of utilities that are underneath the ground, and each day it's been a different effort. The Waterwitch Sanitary and Storm Project, which will also combine Jones Creek, is in the surveying and spec phase, and along with the phone interview from iBank, which will take a long bit of time on the phone, doing a conference call to talk about the different flooding issues and the reasons we need this project to be moved along ahead. But it looks good for that project, and the DEP will be also assisting us with that iBank phone call. The Veterans Park Electric project, that the electric lines, as you see, they have been put in. They're finishing up that project. It should be done by the end of next week. The municipal building is in the schematic phase still. The Borough Council is reviewing the final dimensions and plans for that building, and then the information will be put on the Borough website so you can see the design. It will then go to the civil engineers, site engineers, and such to get, to move further along with that project, to get ready for bid specs, and send it to approval to the State Comptroller's Office. CDBG, Second and Shore, we're waiting for the county to review the bid specs on that project, and that is something that also will be going to bid this summer. So we have some more work that will be getting done in town. Chestnut, Grand Tour, Upper Portland, those are all road jobs that are going to be done through the spring, through the New Jersey Natural Gas program that they're doing, and Upper Portland will also be paved at that time. The next NJDOT application, we are going to submit for Locust Street and that area over there, which would include probably a few of the side streets. The different events that are going on is Earth Day is going to be this Saturday here at the community center. There's some great tables going to be set up and activities. We have a live band coming. Connor Quigley, he's a great artist, plays some good acoustic music. So I hope everybody gets to come out 11 to 2. There's going to be movie night at the community center. Is that next week?
Yeah. Wednesday.
Yeah. Car show, May 10th. Park Fest is going to be May 18th. It starts at Huddy Park, 12 noon. If you could sign up for yoga, physical fitness classes, music in the park there. It'll move over to Cornwall Park to do chess, cornhole, and checkers. And there'll be live music there with acoustic players. And then Veterans Park will then include a concert series from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. with about 5 or 6 bands intermingling in with each other. And the Burns Band, Telegraph Hill Records, and Cranston Dean put that together, and they've done a lot of work on that, promoting that event. Bonfire is June 7th at the community center. We look forward to that, of course, again. We had an events meeting with all of the departments involved with all of the events, so we were working on logistics. That went well. And May 1st, Monmouth County Mitigation Resiliency Planning Coordinators will come to the workshop meeting to review the different mitigation planning with their engineer, Michael Baker. That will be on May 1st. So if anyone's interested in coming to that workshop meeting, they're going to review the county's plan for mitigation of flooding. And that's all.
There's a movie night next Wednesday night,
Car show?
Yeah, but I didn't say what was that.
Car show?
And the car show.
One thing about Earth Day is, on Saturday as well, Atlantic Highlands, at 1 p.m. at their, Vets Park, are going to be giving out free, saplings of different varieties of trees that are indigenous to Monmouth County. And that's sponsored by the Monmouth County Shade Tree Commission. So even though we're having a couple of special things here, you want to shoot over to Atlantic, get some free saplings.
And I think we also have on our website how to get them as well.
Yes, and because if you can't make it to Atlantic Highlands on Saturday, there are other dates through the end of the month, I believe, and different times and different sites, so you can pick up a free sapling at that point.
And we will also have dune grass, so we need people to volunteer to help us plant some dune grass for Earth Day.
Good, Mr. Gonzalez? Chief, you have anything?
Number one, we're going to have to participate again in Operation Take Back with the DEA. That's going to be Saturday, the 27th of April. We'll have a bin at police headquarters. Anybody who has any unused medications and things like that, we will be accepting them that day. The times are going to be posted on the website, along with, we're going to put out a Facebook post most likely tomorrow. Some of you have received some Nixle alerts. As the administrator stated, there's a lot of construction going on right now. With the construction, the mayor and I spoke the other day. I'm in constant communication with the administrator and the DPW superintendent because some of this construction interferes with other construction. So we recently had to tell a contractor they couldn't do the job because there was too many roads closed down. So they had to postpone that job. This is something we're dealing with daily. They just had both ramps to the bridge shut down, along with Miller Street today and part of Valley. The detours are extensive, but we're vigilant in making sure that these contractors have the proper signage. So I know it's sometimes frustrating, but just please follow the signs. There's 3 ways to get out of town. Unfortunately, today 2 of them were blocked, so you have to use the 3rd. With that, a lot of this construction is from utility companies. So I just want to stress to the public that the administrator, Borough Hall, they're not going to help you with your water. They're not going to help you with the gas being turned off. We're not going to help you either. Although today I was able to help with the water issue that was turned off. But call the water company, call the gas company, call the electric company. All we're going to do is if we get the call, we're going to forward that call to them. So it just saves us from coming out to your house or the administrator or somebody from Borough Hall fielding a call just to pass that along. If you have a problem with your utilities, call that company.
There's a lot of behind-the-scene work, but each one of those jobs you see on the streets of Federal Highway. 236 Valley Street, going to go to Cornwall Street, going to go to Portland Road, going to go to 5th Street, New Street. There's a lot of behind-the-scene work that's being taken care of to coordinate all this stuff. So we just have to be patient. We're doing what we can do.
And we're going to be absolutely, I'm sorry, Mick. We do the best that we can. We try and sometimes with the utilities, we don't tell them that they can't do it. They tell us that they're going to do it. They have the right to do that. You can call the Board of Public Utilities and complain, but if there's a gas main or if there's a water main that needs to get done, they're going to do it. So we have to sometimes make do with that.
Everything goes good until it doesn't, and that's what we've had. We've had impacts with the water, with the sewer, with the drainage, all down on Valley Street. It's all in the ground there, so we're trying to work it out. It's just there are going to be some delays, but, when was the last time any of you've seen this much activity going on in town? It's all the things we've asked for. It's all for improvements, for drainage, for water, for sewer, for gas, electric, so it's just one of those things that just have to endure. Appreciate it, Rob. You guys are doing a good job. Good. Public portion. Yes, ma'am.
Tina Kemmer, 164 Linden Avenue. I don't mean to add to that, but I guess I'm gonna. So Monday, when we had those 70-mile-an-hour winds coming out of Sandy Hook, it was really windy and raining and everything, and I'm taking the jug handle, Linden Avenue heading down. And I don't know if it's in the rest of town, and I know it's the jug handle, it's not the borough's, piece of property, what have you. But, there's a lot of felled trees everywhere, and you're kind of trapped in that jug handle, and you've got these trees, these big trees kind of teetering over you while you're sitting there, waiting for the thing to fall on you. So, I'm just wondering, and it's been a big tangled mess for a long time with these uprooted trees, and it's very dangerous. You're sitting there kind of just waiting for when the next, we're getting a lot of powerful storms coming through. Yes, but isn't there, I know that's the case, but isn't there anything as a borough that we can put a little pressure on these people to kind of, get in gear? Well, but because it's going into, it's a thoroughfare going into our community, that, if they're not going to bother doing anything, which they haven't for years and years and years.
I know the maintenance crew has been out. I personally have texted them.
Can they make it a priority, or just, anything up and down the avenue, within our community, along, 35, it's just, okay.
But if they don't think it's necessary to do anything or not, then we cannot do it.
I don't know how they, yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about, though. You've seen all those, there's felled trees everywhere. It's a real disaster.
The only problem with that is sometimes when they're done with the job, it's worse than when they started.
Oh, God.
That's a fact.
But I will, yeah.
I would hope it could only be better, it couldn't be worse, but, you bring up a good point, it could be worse.
Well, I only bring it up because there was a complaint on 36 one time, so they came, they cut all those, lantus trees down. So they're heading northwest into the wind, and they're throwing them for the chipper, and they're not going in the truck. They're blowing over the chipper.
What a bunch of
back onto the
dopes.
thing.
Good
You know,
grief.
and when that woman asked about it, she was told, well, see that guy over there. So she did, and that guy, and finally got to the top. And that guy came down. And he recognized me the next time I saw him as that woman's husband.
No.
Just how it was.
But I would think that there would be some kind, I mean, they're gonna listen to a borough than to maybe just one person like me,
Miss
So,
Gonzalez will call. She's pretty...
I know, absolutely, and I appreciate that. And also, just on a second note, it's not an issue, but I just really wanted to commend you, Mayor O'Neill, and you, Councilwoman Mazzola, for, on the 20th of March, Mayor, you, discussed the fact that you wanted to not be, run everything autocratic, and you wanted to give everybody a say. When people come up here, perhaps they're a little hot-headed, or they speak a little, a little too passionately, thank you, that, I think Mr. Francie had brought up the fact that, you need to gavel them and kind of tell them, And you really stood your ground, and I really appreciated that, and I think it really means a lot to the people in this town that you want both sides to play out, and that, not gaveling, immediately. It's just really appreciated the way that you handled that with grace under pressure. So I thank you for that.
Told you, I'm not that guy anymore.
Well, it's just appreciated because I think
appreciate
that the borough members, everybody here in the borough really wants to be heard. And also, Councilwoman Mazzola, I think that on the 3rd of April, your very thoughtful, calm, and professional speech that you read about, the whole issues going on about the HBP and so forth, and about what we need to see with happening in the township. I think there are a lot of folks, perhaps I'm one of them, and people that don't really speak out, that really feel the same way. And I really appreciated what you said. And I think it needed to be said. We need to see some change. And it was a very hopeful message. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just add on to that. That was the best I ever heard sitting at this table in all my time. With the talk you did was absolutely. I gotta do what I gotta do, but that was the best. That was as concise and as well thought as anything I've ever heard come from this table. That's how it is. You sure? All right.
Hi, Tricia Rivera, Waterwich Avenue. So I just wanted to ask about the capital project around here. Do we have, I know you spoke about it, but do we have any idea when that might start at all? Around this area here?
What are the sanitary?
Yeah, the sanitary and storm.
The stores, I don't know, I'll find out after the phone conference call.
Okay.
What happens is they will tell us how they want the specs to be written. It's a large project,
yeah.
it's approved by the state comptroller. And after it gets approved by the state comptroller, we can then bid it out.
Okay.
Okay? So they're going to give us 2 ways on it. Either the state comptroller has to approve it totally as prior or after. So as that's when the comptroller, they're going to give us the timing.
And that's this week, you'll know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But in
I don't know if they'll give like...
In actuality, it's already started, because CME has already done...
I know they surveyed and everything. Okay. Uh-huh.
But it's not really the staff or the design or how they say, this is how we want it. Remember, 50% since what we're given until they get a city and say so, by timeline.
Okay, what about the DEP? Have we reached out to, I mean,
That one, you
because I know that takes a year for them.
Actually, are the ones that I work with to get the funding. They're already aware of it.
Okay.
I have somebody that's going to be on the conference call with me, with DEP.
Okay.
That can be the staff as soon as possible. But when it comes to the committing, I then will give us the timeline for committing.
Okay. And what about the bulkhead? The ones around here?
That is in the back room.
Okay.
Okay? Except the front wall.
Okay.
The front wall, I actually was having a meeting today, the marine engineer that came out with another idea, being that engineer ends up, we funding for that front,
For the head wall?
for the,
For the valve. And the head wall?
for that spot valve. Is that spot valve?
You mean the head wall or the valve?
Yeah, the head wall we would have to do, but the
And the valve.
I can order the valve, and then.
Okay, just the head wall. And that includes the head wall?
The head wall,
Front head wall, they will find those out.
the head wall numbers are coming a bit higher than we kind of anticipated.
Okay, but that's an important piece of the puzzle.
Understood. It's all together, but
It goes by threshold, so now when the numbers came in, it's not can resolve the wording anything, it's now a bid spec, the design plans and stuff.
Okay.
We were hoping that it would have been just around the threshold that we could do quote your residents and
Okay. Okay, I'll just follow up with you again. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is about, the 36 runoff. Last time I asked, you had identified a spot that we might be able to
It
use.
actually was on time today, and I did not hear from, we didn't review it. That's that.
Okay.
So you're talking about the actual overrun on the median?
Not, well, wherever they're gonna catch the water, so it doesn't, and the silt, so it doesn't come down to
That's a
us.
bigger project that we're going for LAIF funding. So that's combined effort with the design, but the engineer deal also addressing the fact that it goes over the median. So the engineer is working on that. It should be.
Do we have any-
All that construction going on, they don't want to work there as the other construction.
Okay.
you gotta figure it'll be soon, Trish, because they just paved Waterwich Avenue. So why wouldn't you cut that up now?
Right.
Gotta be
Right,
soon.
makes perfect
So the
sense.
asphalt is still warm. Okay?
I was not here when you voted on the Mazer thing, and I know I emailed you guys about it. Did you approve Mazer? I'm really...
These are the top-notch.
I know, but they also, they represented the developer that wanted
But
to build,
that's not,
so
that's not
I'm
contiguous
concerned
property.
about that
No.
because,
It's not the same area, it's not the same area, and they also located in those fourteen areas. So there's probably more work that doesn't have to be done.
seems like a conflict of interest because they did work for the developer and now they're working for the borough, and I can't imagine them having two different opinions about the, well, what about the steep slope? They were,
No, there's a whole, in the
drainage problem.
that we need to know to first
okay. And then I wanted to, ask, I missed the committee, I'm sorry, I missed everything, I get out of work late, so. The committees that you approved, does that include all the boards, the land use board and,
We didn't include committees,
No.
did in session for ordinance department.
Public comment will be made first if you're referring to the ordinance
Oh, okay.
concerning, citizens and advisory committees.
okay, I mean, can we include everybody, the boards, everyone?
Right,
We can't include the land use board, or?
we can't by statute,
No,
correct?
and again, the appropriate time to discuss this is at the public comment.
Okay, all right. And I wanted to ask why you kept Fifth Street lot pervious when you did the scuba, paved the scuba lot? And we get flooded worse over here?
You don't get flooded worse because that's paved. You're not
Well,
telling me
no,
that.
there's no pervious pavement now, it's blacktop.
Trish,
So I'm
That
just
was- wait a
asking
minute.
what was the rationale behind
That-
leaving Fifth
that
Street
parking
lot
lot was-
pervious?
was impervious before. It was crushed
was
concrete. No, it wasn't. It was crushed concrete that was put in there.
What's on the
after-
other one then?
What's that?
What's on Fifth Street?
Fifth Street is gravel.
Okay, so we could have just put gravel down instead of paving it?
Why would you want to put gravel down?
Because we do flood and we get runoff, and it would have helped.
You're not going to get percolation through that. It's not going to work. It's crushed concrete that's been wet and compacted.
I can only just tell you, just from my personal experience of living in a really bad flood area, that we have gravel driveways, and the water does actually
You have gravel
seep
driveways.
into that quicker than
That
it
was not a
does
gravel
blacktop.
parking lot, Trish. That was concrete, pulverized
Okay.
concrete that was put in and compacted.
No, I realize that, but we could have put maybe gravel down instead of paving. That's my point.
Okay,
And you
I didn't
I'm
think
just
that-
wondering why Fifth Street wasn't paved.
And you can't
Why wasn't that
snowplow,
paved?
you can't snowplow a gravel lot.
Okay, but why wasn't Fifth Street paved, is what I meant.
I think haven't done anything.
By the clean plant.
No, we put new gravel down.
We had gravel put in when we did the drainage down
Yeah.
there.
When you get closer to the water, you will lose the grass.
No, the fact, we get runoff and that goes right down our drain,
Goes down the drain.
and now, I mean, there's nothing, it's just gonna go over the blacktop. Okay. I don't wanna argue, but, and then speaking of trees, I would like to know, if anyone counted the trees that were removed from the Portland project, which obviously, up on Portland, the building that they're doing up there, obviously a lot of trees.
I can
were-
speak to that at the Shade Tree Commission. We confirmed
Okay.
it last night, that the contractor did get permits to take down all of those trees.
Okay.
And they will have to replace them as per the ordinance.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Can we possibly find out, like, from each committee, the head of each committee member, maybe once every 3 months, the status of what they're doing and like how many
I
trees
post
were
committee meetings for
removed?
all of my committees as soon as,
I
and then
looked
Rosa
at-
posts
I looked
the other
at-
ones.
But I mean, I don't know like how many trees are removed and then where are we placing these trees?
That would
Because
be
I never
with the
see any
tree
new
commissioner.
trees.
The tree commissioner,
Uh-huh.
Christian Lee,
Okay,
and actually at the Shade Tree Commission last night, we discussed them going to the land use board because both him and Chris Francie are members of the land use board.
Yeah.
And to put as part of the checklist, landscaping that needs to be put back in place after a project is done.
okay. And, I mean, could we possibly get updates from you guys at this meeting?
Oh, you
As
mean
far
have
as-
committee reports again?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's the decision of the mayor.
Can we?
I just want,
He just
Trish,
blocked me out.
I just want you to know that,
Been
Trish,
going on for a while.
Trish,
I haven't been here in a while, I have a lot of questions.
open space meetings are also posted on the website.
No, I know, well, the open space, and, I mean, I haven't seen the green team, it's not updated as much as, I'd like to see it, so, and it doesn't really get into specifics like I'm asking, so that's why I'm asking if we can have committee reports.
Also, the meetings are open to
Specifics
the
that
public.
you're asking for are not done at, like, say, the Shade Tree. That is done with the tree commissioner. That is his job, is to sign off on permits, and then to make sure that people have replanted when they've chopped something down.
Do we have a report of that, though, anywhere? Of what's been replanted? And where? Anywhere?
Would
And
guess
tomorrow?
it's with,
Generally, most of it is where it's been removed.
where it's been removed and what it's been
So
replaced.
if you cut a
supposed to
tree in
be
your house,
anywhere
you
in
put
the
another one
borough.
at your house.
The paperwork has to exist because it's on the permit. When I personally had to cut down a diseased tree, I replaced it with 2 different trees.
Right,
So, and that was on my permit.
okay. I mean, I just haven't seen a lot of trees being
I don't know if a
replanted
report exists.
downtown,
I
so
do know
that's why
the
I'm
permits
asking.
exist. I don't know if any report is actually put together from that. We keep the permits, yeah.
Because the C Street took some trees down, I haven't seen any, those replanted anywhere, so, I mean, I'd just like to see more downtown on borough property, not,
Well, that's why we
I'd like
planted
to
all
see
those
more down
cherry
on
trees.
private property,
we have, well, I mean, we do seagrass, because everything dies because of the sewage that we get hit with down here, so, sorry.
This is no win.
I'm not kidding, I planted seagrasses like 3 years in a row and they died.
Trish, I also wanted to let you know, besides the minutes being posted to the website,
sorry.
The minutes, the committee minutes cannot be posted, at least I don't post mine, until my committee has voted and approved the minutes, so that's why they're a month behind.
Okay.
And all the meetings open to the public, so you are more than welcome to come at any time.
No, I appreciate that. I just don't, I have a hard time getting here, so. And one more question, I'm done. Because Coles came up tonight, so if someone purchases that, do they have to go by the redevelopment plan now?
Captain's Cove?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to think so.
That's what it's for.
Okay, no,
That's the
because
zoning for
we're
that
talking
property.
about the buying it, so I wanted to see if that was the case. Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was a little confusing. Probably got a little bit away, but I didn't want to shut those people down for the same reasons, but you have to understand, we deal with Fred Rosiak. Fred Rosiak owns the place. When Fred sells and these guys buy, if that's the case, then we deal with them. It's just, you know. You want to speak, Mr. Thompson? Go ahead.
Frank Thomas,
Thomas.
49 Huddy Avenue. I'm here to talk about the marina. It has been a hardship having it taken his mercantile license away. It was a hardship on the clammers when you did it in like December, but it was the middle of the winter and they really didn't care anyway. But now, they've gone around and put their boats anywhere as they can, and now you're gonna start having summer people come down. People that have come down for 3-4 generations that expect to just open up their summer house, which they've paid taxes on for 3 generations, 4 generations, and tie their boat right across the street. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't just put the boat in there anyway. But,
Then the son-in-law can deal with that.
well, we will have to. You never know. If you think that marina's in bad shape now, I'm gonna give you a picture that just show it to everybody. It's, Fred Rosiak has spent a hell of a pile of money on that place. It isn't really fixed up great, but I think the borough, it would be in a whole lot worse shape if you let, if they hadn't sold it when it was, if they hadn't sold it to Fred. Like the Kileys and the Sheehan's owned it, and all they did was nail plywood against the inside of it, and I think that added to the rot that they have now. The plywood, they dug down like 3-4 foot around the edges of it, put the plywood back there, and then the plywood held the moisture up against the maybe 3-inch boards that were there, and that rotted the whole thing out. But Fred's working on it, and if he does what he says he's gonna do, I don't know if he will or not, I really hope that we'll try to move the mercantile license along as quick as possible. I mean, it's part of the town. I mean, you've got people that, that's why they're here, to use their boats. Why don't you try saying to the people on, Shrewsbury Avenue, hey, we're not gonna have any more boats in your backyard anymore, and see what they say, you know? I mean, it's been there a long time, and, hopefully it'll continue to be there a long time for other people to use.
That's up to Fred. Fred owns it now.
Yep. And I hope it works out with the other guys, because they seem to, Russ guy, he's spending a lot of money there, building the house, and, if he's involved in it, I think it could, maybe go along pretty good.
Maybe so, that's what we have to find out. But for Fred to get his mercantile license back, he has to comply to what he was directed to do by the engineers.
But then you're going and changing engineers. So if one engineer comes up with, you know, well, Peter knows, one architect's totally different than the other architect. the one engineer could say, well, that repair's okay.
That's like getting
And
one
then the
job.
other guy comes along and says, oh, no, you're not gonna be able to do that. You know, it's,
As soon as Fred complies, we'll work to get his mercantile license.
complies to the first guy or the second guy.
Complies, there's only one guy. There's only one guy.
All right. Well, hopefully it'll get taken care of, and the side that Peter and Brian live on, that's in pretty good shape. And the Washington Avenue side, or the Washington Avenue side, that's totally rebuilt for half of it. I mean, it could be used, but not without the mercantile license. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else?
Brian Cobb, 11 Recreation Place. Big night for us who live in this Waterwitch area. A lot of things are going on with that marina, and I know it's been up and down. I've lived in town for 25 years now. I've lived on Huddy or Recreation, that's it. And we've been through a lot. You talked about 3 years, Councilman Brion, you've talked about 3 years with Fred, 25 years. Fred is a character, and he's been through a lot too. A couple hurricanes, couple storms, health problems, I get it. My goal, Frank's goal, everyone in this area, they want to keep the marina as a marina. It's a benefit to the town. I know Councilman Braswell has said, and I understand where you're coming from. Ken Braswell said last November that the marina is a liability to the town and the neighborhood. It's also an asset. It's a little mix, kind of like Fred, It's a little up and down, you give and take a little bit there. And I understand you've been through a lot with 3 years of effort. We're coming, I see light at the end of this tunnel, I really do. I think we're getting there. So I ask the council just to put up with it a little bit longer, if this situation can work out. Work with them. I know, it's hard. It's hard.
The ball's in his court, Brian.
What?
The ball's in his court.
Yes.
3 years, 4 years we've gone on with this. These are the things that Fred asked for and didn't complete, not the things that we asked for.
I hear you.
Nobody's been more patient with Fred Rosiak than I have. I was there the day he bought the merchandise. And it was controversial from get. Okay, so as long as he complies and gets his stuff done, he'll get his mercantile.
Okay. I think you're mellowing out, Mr. Mayor, a little bit.
Well, isn't that what you want? See what you want.
We can hope.
We've worked with Fred until he imposed a stop on him, on his own self. And you guys were here for that stop, and now
Yes.
he's back to going, and,
Yes. And I understand, to Ken Braswell's point last November, there are really significant problems with these breakouts. I mean, my house is right there, so I understand. We hope for the best. I just ask.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yes.
And we want to be safe. When our professionals tell us that there's a risk and a liability with a structure, and we take action contrary to their inspections and their advice to us, then we could be liable for creating a bad situation worse.
The town's liability,
So-
yes. There's legal
so we-
liability.
When a professional tells us something, we've got to go.
I understand.
We've got to go with it.
I understand.
We have to protect you and your neighbors and
And
everyone
your house.
around there and your homes.
I understand. The town doesn't want to be sued.
well, it's not that, and we don't live in the Waterwitch Basin area. We're trying to make it safe for our neighbors and residents in that area. Whether they like it or not, that's our job, and that's what we're going to see through to.
Yes. We appreciate it.
Mr. Cobb, I agree, and I think that it's very important that those people who live in the immediate vicinity of the marina need to recognize that there are other people who live just beyond you, okay? And in that surrounding area that have been negatively affected by the fault of that marina. So it's our job to protect everybody in the town.
No, I understand. I understand. It's not just the people who live in the marina.
Wait a minute, Mr. Thomas.
He'll tell me later what he was going to say. So, to another point quickly, again, the marina. Can we get an update on what's going on with the redevelopment, the amended plan? There was a resolution to spend $6,500 last December, I think it was voted on, or November. A resolution to contract with Hire Gruel Associates on that plan. Has anything come up with that plan?
That's going to be a drawdown type of a resolution, so that would be any work that we require additional to the redevelopment plan, so it doesn't mean that they're doing work right now. I have went down to Trenton to speak to the DEP, and it seems as though right now, it does not follow regulation to fill the marina in and build homes. It would be water's edge, and within water's edge, you cannot build within 100 feet. So as of right now, that's the regulation.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Okay, that's where we're at. So there won't be an amended plan?
I'm not saying there will never be an amended plan, no. But as of right now, the regulation for the DEP does not allow you to fill in the marina and put homes.
Okay, interesting.
Because it's water's edge, and you have 100 feet from water's edge before you can have a home.
Okay, very good. All right, that's it. Thank you.
So with that in mind, now that more than likely houses won't be built there, how goes that marina looking now? You know what I mean? Of course, that man said that was a B+ to A- marina. Try to sell that someplace.
Well, if they commit,
He's calling that an A- to B+ marina. He has no idea about bulkheading. None.
we'll see what they do. We'll see what their plan is. And will there be, again, if they're operating, this is all, excuse me? Well, I am going on my third question now. They're going to have to work with, they buy the marina. Fred completes part of the plan to fix it, but I get gist of what I'm hearing tonight is there's more to do beyond whatever that commitment that Fred made tonight.
That's what they say.
All right, so you're going to be on them to finish that also. All right, very good. Is that public information, the actual repair plan?
I would tend to think so.
The municipal engineer's report will likely determine the request.
Is that an Oprah request, or? All right. I'll ask.
Advisement, if I can't fire it out. It will take it under advisement.
Under advisement, all right. We can discuss later. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Anyone else? Here in the back, the orange. Red.
My name's Dave Cook. I'm a hopeful future resident of Highlands, and I just wanted to ask the town council that I drove here from my house to support the marina, and I know you all have been patient with the marina over the years, but I feel like it's a real resource for the town and a real natural resource that we're not able to use because there is no mercantile license. And as the marina had some structural problems that they were working on, that you all were able to have a temporary mercantile license or a mercantile license that did continue to go through until December of last year. And I would ask that you all would propose a temporary mercantile license that would allow the marina to operate and allow the people to come to the town to use, for recreation, to support the local businesses, to come in and bring, our business, our families, here to enjoy Highlands.
We have to see what the whole game plan is before we can say that we could do that. Because this has gone on for a long time, so.
Right, I guess I feel as though the safety of I understand the concern with the structure of the marina and the engineers having their determination and what Fred needs to do to fix it, but that if the town council was able to have a temporary mercantile license that allowed people to utilize the marina, I feel like it would be the best thing for the town. And it would be a solution to the problem. I do think that marina needs to be fixed before it can move forward, and for someone to buy it, and for someone like Fred to be able to improve it and be able to sell it or whatever. I feel like it needs to be an operation, and the safety to the public wasn't really from people putting their boats in there. There wasn't a safety issue for the people just putting their boat in there. There was an issue of the bulkhead.
Well, I have to interject here. So, I understand what you're asking. I don't know if you've actually seen the marina when it was a high tide, full moon event with a storm.
I've been there for 12 years.
You have?
I've seen it through both
So,
hurricanes and...
I know that one of the last storms that we had...
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the last storms that we had, those boats were high up. That bulkhead towed in so bad. I have photos of it, that it is a risk. And for us to allow him to charge people and operate that business, that is a safety risk if somebody was in there with their boat. I have to say, I've been out there and I've seen it. That's somebody charging for the use of it. It's not the borough marina that, people are coming for
I would beg for the
recreation.
ability to be able to have us pay money to go in there and be able to put our
No,
boats in there and
I
enjoy it.
We have to understand that we have to look at the benefit of the residents and the safety issue and the flooding of their properties and the damage that it's causing to them. And to sit up here and say, I have to decide based on people that are paying taxes in this town and have suffered damage and have come to us time after every meeting versus recreational, and even though we don't want to see, it's like a serpent, we don't want to see it empty, but we can't have a business operate out of a building that is not structurally sound. So it's just in the marina format, or the water format, than the building format. And we have to make sure that our residents and the voters, and anybody using that property, because I have seen the footings or the gaps between the street and the dock, and it's not safe. So safety is an issue. It's an issue for recreation. It's an issue for people living in the area. And we have to be very mindful of that putting up there before we could give somebody a municipality.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thanks for being on the town council, and I just hope you all will be as lenient as possible with them, and, thanks.
You're welcome, sir. Thanks for coming. Peter.
Hi, Peter Mullen, 11 Ring Place. I just add my voice to, well, first, I'm very happy that the DEP put themselves on record that this is a public access marina, and filling it in and putting housing there is not appropriate, I don't think, for the town. Access to the water is a very, very important thing in this town. You can build houses in Middletown anywhere. There's lots of land. You can't build a marina in Middletown. It's all land. You need water, and this should be accessed all the time. And while I'm not a fan of Mr. Rosiak, I would love to see this thing back in operation and generating some income so that it was a more valuable property in the eyes of any purchaser that might take it over and run it properly.
Thank you.
Certainly, sir. You can say it from there, Mr. Thomas.
The dune grass, you talked about the dune grass 3 or 4 times. On Fred's side and Brian's side, the dune grass is right there. There's no cracks in the grass area. I told Fred last year.
No, I'm talking on Washington, that there's been...
If somebody could come in there on Washington Avenue and plant the dune grass, I think the root of that stuff is holding the soil from just growing on through.
You mean you want me to hop over that bulkhead and get down there and help plant that thing there? I'm not doing that. I got leg issues
I'm going to close public portion.
Okay.
My name is Bob Craven.
I am a new Highlander. I got my Jersey license today, my driver's license.
Address, sir?
I'm sorry, 55 Huddy.
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome to Highlands.
Thank you. This is the third time I've lived here. Okay? I came in the 60s for a short while, and then in the 70s, I brought my family down from upstate New York, and we lived on Prospect. And a couple of years later, we moved to Atlantic Highlands because the folks we were living next to on Prospect got a little crazy on the drug scene, so we had to leave town. But anyway, I'm very happy to be here. I've been in and out of Highlands since before I moved here. I lived in the trailer park, and I just want to say I'm happy to be here. All right, when I went away, I spent 20 years in the mountains, and I came down and visit with Frank one time, and I got up early in the morning because we were going to go skeet shooting, and I walked up to the corner of Huddy and got myself a couple of cups of coffee and a couple of donuts. And when I came out of the store and made a right down Huddy, the sun came up. That was 10 years ago. And the whole town just glows in that instant the sun rises on the shore. And I made a promise to myself that I would be back here to live, and I moved in on the 1st of February. I'm a former deputy mayor for 2 terms of a small town in upstate New York that was started in 1663. And when we were going about the things under the ground, we found out our Water Street sewers were oak trees that were drilled out with heated irons and everything else. And so we went after federal funding and state funding and everything else. And in the first 2 years, we got $5 million from all different agencies, and we fixed the place. So I want to say this is one of the best run meetings in a small town I've attended. So I'm happy to be here, and I've been fishing out of that Captain's Cove for a long time. In fact, we used to teach young waterfowlers when the boat club was there every year. Because I was the president of the New Jersey Waterfowlers Association, but very glad to be back in New Jersey, and I'm happy to get. It took me 4 weeks to get it. I didn't have the right birth certificate. I had the hospital, So yesterday I got on the high-speed ferry and I went to New York, and I spent $87 and came home with the birth certificate. So anyway, I'll be seeing you around.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm going to move to close the public portion. Move to adjourn.
Do I have a second to adjourn?
Coming out.
All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting's been adjourned at 9:46 PM.